Alright, g'day, hi and welcome. Okay, so in my last video, I was talking about like my insurances and stuff like that, how they all come up at once. And why didn't I save up the money for this year last year? Well, last year I got wiped out. The breaking down of the truck didn't help me at all. The year before, I wiped out all my savings on the truck, right? So like, it doesn't take, like, you think you have a lot of money in savings. Even if you had 100 grand in savings, if you lost your job today and you had 100 grand in savings, you wouldn't get very far on 100 grand. Like, you'd be fine for probably the first year, you know, maybe two if you were really, you know, living, you know, if you had, a guy like me could probably live, 5 years off 100 grand. You know what I mean? Like, without being, you know, without a change in my lifestyle, because I don't make very much. I don't make 100 grand a year. I wish. I'd be happy if I made 30. You know what I mean? Like 30, I'd be living like a king, because I usually make between 12 and 20. You know what I mean? Like, it varies that much on a lot of things. Weather has a lot to do. It's one thing I hate about doing lawn care is you're completely subjected to the weather. That's why I got to do other things, you know, that where I can work rain or shine. But no, last year everything just hit so hard last year, and it wiped me out completely. And that was like one of those things where I just couldn't recover from it. And by the time I sort of recovered, I had just enough to get me through the winter, which this year I did well getting through the winter. Plus I actually had work in the winter. Like, I'd be really hurting right now if I didn't get that extra work that I did get. Because I actually got like more than usual work in January, more than usual work in February, and way more than usual work in March, right? Which really set me up for now. Which I'm ahead, right? But all the money I have ahead would be gone if I had to renew my plates and insurance on the truck and the car today. You know what I mean? All that spare money would be gone, and then I'd be cramped for the winter. So this year, like, I have to fix the truck, right? So I have to come up with money for that. So I could park the truck for a year. So like last year, one thing I did is I let the insurance plate, like, technically my truck is still has the plate insurance on. The actual broker insurance on it, because there's two insurances in Quebec that we get. In Ontario, it's the same, but it's just kind of reverse how they do it. So us, they charge us a lot for the plate, but not as much for the actual, you know, broker insurance. And then in Ontario, they charge you a gazillion dollars for the plate, but way less for the broker insurance, right? Or, sorry, way more for the broker insurance, but less for the plate. Nice little truck there. Cool. So for me, it's quite simple. I ran out of money. But this year, I still got about a month or so before things start coming in, because they usually come in about a month ahead, right? And if I do it right this month, my goal for this month is to make $1,500, which is not enough, but if I can make $1,500 plus, which I'm on par to do, we'll see how this week and next week goes, that sets me up for at least paying for the car. The car is not very expensive in comparison to the truck. It's about half the price. It's about half the price for the plate, half the price for the insurance, and the driver's license, which you renew every year, is the same. So if I can cover at least the car this month and have it ready to go, have that money ready to go, and still maintain my living expenses ahead on top of that, I'd be doing really well for June. And then in June, I'll probably have enough for the truck if I needed to, but I could still park the truck and use that, you know, put that money towards next year, right? I mean, I'm like a squirrel. I pack everything away for way down the road. I mean, it's hard living like in survival mode like that all the time, where it's like all you do is just try to get ahead. Once you get ahead enough, it's not too bad, but it's to stay ahead. So what got me was buying the truck 2 years ago and spending all my savings on the truck, right? And it put me behind enough that I had to struggle through that coming winter, and it was a hard struggle. I made it, but it was a hard struggle to be able to pay for everything. And then I had nothing by the spring, and then it was a late spring. So by the time money started coming in, I was really desperate for cash, and that's what happened last year. Because this year, it was the opposite. It was an extremely early spring. Thank God, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I was working in February, you know what I mean? And with that, you know, like that's helped me out a lot to get me ahead, right? So if I have a late spring or early spring and a late fall, that's kind of like best case scenario. But if I have a early spring and a normal fall, I still stay on par. But if I do well between June, July, and August, which is kind of my peak months, that sets me up for January, February, March, April, right? And if I can make all my living expenses up to next May, there's an overlap where I have money sitting there till the money comes in, right? Because I really don't see the money till the end of April typically, because, you know, by the time people start paying me and stuff like that. So this year I'm off to a good start, knock wood, anything can happen. But if I play my cards right, I won't be out, you know, like I'll be ahead. And if I stay ahead, the upside to that is I could start focusing on putting away for another truck, you know. And I love Thunder. It's a great truck, but I basically bought too old of a truck. You know what I mean? Like too many things to go wrong. It's a great truck for the year, but you know, I don't know. Like right now, if I just fix what I know I have to fix, there's already $2 grand of repairs to $3 grand of repairs to do. Like, you know, like I'm going to need new new tires for the winter. I probably get another season or two out of those other tires, but just, you know what I mean? Obviously going to have to do the brakes, all the brakes around. Got to do the exhaust. Just that stuff alone is about $3 grand, maybe more, $3-4 grand just in repairs there, which I don't mind making if you know the truck's rock solid mechanically, right? That's just wear and tear stuff, but it's still a cost. And on top of that, I can't fix that stuff until I know what's wrong with the engine. And if it's the engine, you know, if I have to fix the computer, you know, what's called the command control module, those things are going to be $1,000 to $2,000. You know what I mean? So there's no quick fix, and you say, well, just go get stuff from the scrapyard. Putting used parts on a time bomb is a double time bomb. That's the thing. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as fixing it on the cheap. You know, there's patch it now, fix it later. Sure, there's that. I do that well. You guys know. But there's no such thing as a cheap fix. Not anymore. Like when I was growing up, yeah, you buy a Camaro, whatever, and, you know, rebuild the engine for $800. You know what I mean? You know, and that was like that, and that was upgraded too. You know what I mean? Now, no, to rebuild it, just to do a top end is like $3,000. You know, it's ridiculous. And fewer and fewer people are actually repairing cars now. It's like there's this statistic showing that there's a lack of mechanics because just nobody wants to get into the work because it's not that there's no money into it, but there's money in it. I mean, these guys are charging you, you know, quite a bit. You know, garage charges you like $106 an hour. You know what I mean? Give or take. You know what I mean? And yeah, but it's just like finding a garage that'll actually work on your stuff is very, 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 very difficult. And when you don't have the time to work on it yourself, you don't have the garage to work on it yourself, like it's just, it becomes impossible. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, that's where I'm at. And we'll, you know, the end of this month is going to be very telling how the rest of my season is going to go. So this is kind of like the make or break month will be July, of course, but it always is. But if I play my cards right and get my credit card debt down enough, get the chainsaw, all that, and sell off all the other stuff, you know, if I can sell off my boat and all that. If I sell off my boat, wow, I'll literally be sailing. But we'll see. You know, we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to go get my provisions.